Back in June 27th and 28th, we had a new track record put down here. Rico Abreu blistered the old one, so that will be a tough highlight to try to hit again, but they will try to do that whenever they come here for that event at the tail end of June. The Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace Truck is on the track, and the Show Me Vintage Racers are in tow. Probably going to have a lap or two just to work this track in again if I had to assume, before they are unleashed for their 15-lap main event. Last night, the man that won is Damon Clevenger. And what does he get for running up front last night and winning? He gets to start dead last. 23rd is where he will start. He has won an event here at Lucas Oil Speedway each of the last 3 years. So he starts dead last, and Beth Martin's going to be on the pole, as they will take a couple laps around. And we're going to keep our eyes on Danny Lorton back in 18th. He is our general manager here. Lightning Lorton, the Missouri Missile. He's pudding. So let's get the starting grid set for you here for our 15-lap main event for the Show Me Vintage Racers. A-Main number 1 headed your way, and Beth Martin out of Buckner, Missouri, will be on the pole to get things started for the 15-lap main event. She got her family started in racing, and she is on the pole with Kevin Prawl on her outside. Dan Schmidt out of Blue Springs, Missouri, starting inside row 2. Jim Thorne out of Tongi, Kansas. To his right-hand side, back in row 3, it's Brian Cox and Bob Workmeister. Mickey Cook will start inside row 4. Bryant Moyer, the Giant Bryant, out of Lone Jack, Missouri. He will start in 8th. Back in 9th, Ken Brown and Chad Eichelberry, they make up row 10. David Isaacs, who had a good run in his heat race, will start inside row 6 with Terry Price. Row 7's Gary Proskotchel and Patrick Adamy. Row 8 has William Houlihan and Ed Neal. Ed Neal had some issues with that car smoking, got black flagged. See if he got that fixed. John Martin and Danny Lorton in row 9. Owen Evinger joins Rodney Ashworth, starting 19th and 20th. Rob Ashworth and Angela Ashworth in row 11. And Damon Clevenger, we mentioned he won last night. He's going to start 23rd. A view from the Foley Equipment flag stand. Chris Loberg gives the crew the 1 to go sign. Lights have been turned off. The Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace Truck heads off the track over in turn 2, and the field is under the control of Beth Martin. Beth getting a little froggy up there in the very front row through the pits, or the Lucas Oil start zone. 15 times around for the Show Me Vintage Racers. Beth Martin out in front, but not for long, as a challenge to the outside. Dan Schmidt at the line, 2 laps in. Able to grab the lead. Dan Schmidt out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Have him listed as a 1955 Chevy, but I know that's not right. As the Midwest Sheet Metal caution comes out, we had completed 2 laps. And I think maybe debris. Is that debris on the front stretch, maybe? Nope, it's on the backstretch. There it is. Hobby Time Motorsports Safety Crew springs into action. Yep, there it is. I would say that was a weight, but I think these cars are heavy enough. And there's a couple of pieces of debris, actually. So they get both of them picked up. And one car gets pushed back to the pit area. Maybe that's why the caution came out. Drive shaft for Brian Cox. So the 71 Firebird won't fire anymore. Single file restarts for the Show Me Vintage Racers. All of our other classes go 2 wide in the Delaware double file restart. All led now by Dan Schmidt. Beth Martin right behind him, then Kevin Prahl, your top 3. Green flag in the air, and Dan Schmidt with what a hole shot out by 8 car lengths as they head to turn 1. And the chase is on down the backstretch. Gaggle of cars there off of turn 2. Dan Schmidt had a 2-second lead. It's now up to 3 seconds in the span of just 2 laps now that we've gone back to the green flag and gone hot on the track. And now we're going to go cold on the track. Midwest Sheet Metal caution out again. Had a car cut through the infield. Big mover so far has been Damon Clevenger, up 12 spots. He started dead last. He's up to 11th already, and he loves all these cautions coming out simply for the fact that he is starting to inch his way to the front. And Dan Schmidt, I think somebody's going to have Lady Luck fall on their side to be behind Dan Schmidt whenever a caution comes out late, because on every restart he has jetted out to a massive lead. This time within 2 laps it had already built up to 3 seconds. And there's Damon. That's the man that was the man of the hour last night. When you get to talk to Doug Neff in Victory Lane, you know you've done something right. And he's done that 3 times in the last 3 years. He also won back in 2019. Former champion in the pony stock class at I-70 in 2001. So Dan Schmidt had a 3-second lead in 2 laps. Let's see what he does this time. It's the same cast of characters behind him with Prahl, Beth Martin, and David Isaacs. And Beth Martin gets passed by Kevin Prawl. Bryant Moyer will go around. David Isaacs will go around. Chad Eichelberry next in line. The choo-choo train on the outside and the slow car to the inside is Beth Martin. As 4 cars got around her, and Ed Neal still has a smoking problem out of the back of the 3. And give David Isaacs, yeah, it's just getting worse. See some flames coming out from the bottom side of the 3. And with that, the Midwest Sheet Metal caution will come out. Every time that the 3 got on the gas, flames would come out from the bottom side of it. You could see it glowing, and camera work up on top here at Lucas Oil Speedway got it good. Clutch problems there for the Hobby Time Motorsport safety crew. And the crane back in the air, and Dan Schmidt was getting ready to have some company with David Isaacs. And now not only is it David Isaacs, but Bryant Moyer is there. Also is Chad Eichelberry. And Damon Clevenger started 23rd up into the top 5. The man on the move has been Damon Clevenger. Almost up 20 spots already. And a spin over in turn 2. He's off the track, but not quite far enough. Single file, and here we go again. Dan Schmidt over David Isaacs. New player in the game is Owen Evinger in the 18. Owen's first trip to Lucas Oil Speedway was yesterday. He's trying to make some noise, but he's got a log jam up in front of him. Damon Clevenger is going to pick him off, and we've got a battle, and now a yellow light flips on again. And this is for, I think, Ashworth over in turn 4. Car slowed on the tracks, the 1A of pup Rodney Ashworth. A little different situation this year for the Show Me Vintage Racers. Mickey Fleehart, who was the club president, kind of spearheaded this entire group, passed away a couple years ago. They had new leadership and another change in leadership this year, but still no real loss of numbers, as 24 were here yesterday, 23 today. And Rodney Ashworth used to run a late model here at Lucas Oil Speedway back in 2019. And we're set to go again. Into 3 and 4. And Chad Eichelberry got off to a pretty quick start on that restart. He will get around Dan Schmidt, and now Dan Schmidt has gone from first to fifth. Damon Clevenger continues to march through the field. He's been caught with his hand in the cookie jar a couple times tonight on restarts, been penalized a couple of spots for taking off too soon and jumping a couple of cars before green flag actually comes out. But even at that, with 2 to go, he's still up in third. And Chad Eichelberry now leads the way. Owen Evinger on his tail with 1 lap to go. Will Chad Eichelberry be able to hold off all the contenders? The Bandit out of Warrensburg, Missouri. Going to be able to head off at turn 4 and grab the checkers. Leading only just the last handful of laps, and he does so with a win over Owen Evinger. And Chad Eichelberry, a winner at I-70 last year. The former champion in 1993 in Enduro class at Central Missouri, drops the window net and picks up the W here early in the season in 2025. And he does so over Owen Evinger, Damon Clevenger. That's your top 3, David Isaacs and Dan Schmidt. Schmidt led his fair share of laps. John Martin in 6th. Beth Martin, your pole sitter, dropped back to 8th. Danny Lorton 9th and Kevin Prawl in 10th. Flip of the page has Jim Thorne in 11th. And the rest of your field is Rodney Ashworth. Fell off the pace early, or at least in those last 5 laps, brought out the last caution. And the victory will go to Chad Eichelberry.